Sin lives in our hearts. Our first parents, Adam and Eve, disobeyed God by eating of that fruit that God told them not to eat of. And that sin that they did caused us to fall into an eternity of sin, or maybe I shouldn't say eternity, into a time of fallenness. And if it wasn't for Christ, we would be lost forever. But we are in a state of fallenness. We have original sin, as the theologians will say, in our hearts. And so sin lives in our hearts. And so the exact same things that Adam and Eve did, we actually do. And we see that played out in Samson's life. This deliverer that was supposed to be this great deliverer of Israel ends up being full of sin and really a disappointment up to the end of his life. He There's so much lost potential in what Samson did, and then we also need to remind ourselves that we are just like Samson. So Samson went down to Timnah, and he tells his father and mother, "I saw one of the daughters of the Philistines at Timnah. Now get her for me as wife." Philistines would not be somebody the Israelites should be marrying, especially the a deliverer of Israel. So he wants to marry this Philistine woman. He would have been commanded. The Old Testament commanded, Deuteronomy commanded them not to marry people of the land. And so the father and mother say, "Well, isn't there a lady within the Israelites that you could marry?" But Samson said, "Get her for me, for she is right in her eyes." And this is hearkening us back to Adam and Eve. Eve saw the fruit, and she saw that it was a delight to her eyes, that it would make her wise. So this is the same language. Eyes is being used, and the rightness is being used. For Eve, it was a fruit. For Samson, it was a lady. For you and me, it is something else. What is it that you have decided is right in your own eyes, and you're deciding to do it for yourself? But even in the midst of our sin, we have verse 4: his father and mother did not know that it was from the Lord. They didn't know that God was going to use this as an opportunity against the Philistines. God is going to use the defects of Samson for his good. God is omniscient. God knows everything. There's not a single thing that the Lord does not know. And he knew that what Samson was going to do, and God's going to use it for his good. He also knew that Adam and Eve were going to sin. So it's not like he created the world, Adam and Eve sin, and God had to go think and decide, what am I going to do now that they ate from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil? He knew what they were going to do, and he has a purpose in store. Adam and Eve brought about that reality. Samson brings about the reality as free creatures. We are able to bring things into existence, but we have to remember, when I say we bring things into existence, that we make choices and we change reality. But at the same time, God is superintending, He is over and above everything that we do. So while we act and we change reality, we cannot do anything that is not also approved and allowed by God. We cannot work in and of ourselves. So even though Samson is sinning, God is going to use it for His glory. So he goes down to visit the girl, and he comes to the vineyards of Timnah. Now Samson was a Nazarite, and he should have not been drinking, shouldn't have even been close to grapes. And he goes into a vineyard, and while he was there, a young lion comes roaring to attack him, and the Spirit of the Lord rushes upon him, and he tears this lion in two. But he didn't tell his father or mother about this incident because he didn't want them to know that he had been in a vineyard. So then he goes and talks with the woman again because she was right in Samson's eyes. And after some days, he returned to take her. Same language for Eve. Eve saw the fruit, that it was a delight to her eyes, that it would make her wise, and she took it and she gave it to her husband that was with her. And that's exactly what Samson is doing to this bride that he should not be having. He returns to take her. But as he's on his way, he wants to see how this lion is doing, and he sees that there is a swarm of bees around the lion's carcass, and right there up in the chest cavity, somewhere in in the bones there is a honeycomb. He takes it, he scrapes it away, he eats it, and he gives some to his mother and father. Again, this is what Eve does. She sees the fruit, she takes it, eats it, and then she gives it to her husband who was with her. Now, Adam should have been attacking the snake and getting rid of the snake. He was just standing by, not doing his duty. But it was Eve that gave it to Adam. And when it comes to sin, sin lives within us, and we oftentimes share our sin with others, and we bring pain and consequences on other people. May God bless us for all of the gracious people in our life. May God protect us from our own sinful desires by those people that live around us. I pray that's been a help and a blessing to you, and I'll see you in the next video.